The city above is all fluorescent hum and recycled air, a place that wears people thin as tissue paper. But beneath the streets, in a sanctuary of stone and mineral seepage, there is a language written in falling water. And there is Casper Vale, who listens to the rhythm of the drops to find the truth in every heart. Welcome to Fable's Adventures. I'm your host, and today's narrative, The Silence of the Fissure, is for those who understand that some secrets are too heavy to be spoken aloud. This is a story for our 16-plus audience. It explores the terrifying moment when a gift for reading others encounters a void, and the impossible choices that follow. If you appreciate atmospheric urban fantasy that doesn't offer easy answers, please subscribe. Let's descend into the dark. The water is waiting.
You descend the stairs because the light above has become unbearable. Fluorescent hum, recycled air that tastes like copper pennies, and regret. The city above, all its screaming, its bright demands, has worn you thin as tissue paper. So you come here, where Casper Vale waits in the dark like a patient confessor, and the water falls in rhythm with truths you can't speak aloud. The sanctuary smells like stone and mineral seepage, like the earth's honest breath. Casper sits on the limestone outcropping near the old token booth, their fingers tracing the edge of an ancient ledger. They don't look up when you enter. They don't need to. That's the thing about Casper. They know you're here the way plants know the sun. Some quality in the air shifts. The dripping water accelerates slightly, betraying your quickened pulse before you're even aware of it yourself. "Welcome back," Casper says softly. Their voice carries the weight of actual attention, the kind you haven't felt in years, maybe ever. The water's been restless today. It's true. The drops fall in staccato bursts from a fissure in the tunnel ceiling, creating a rhythm that sounds almost like Morse code. Anxiety in stone. You've learned to read this language, Casper's language, the language of this place. When someone arrives with deception coiled in their chest, the water becomes frantic, almost violent. When someone carries genuine pain, it falls heavy and deliberate, like tears that know exactly where they're going. You settle onto the cool floor beside them. The humidity wraps around you like a living thing. You let it. "There's someone new coming," you say. It's not a question. You know things too, just not the way Casper does. You know things the way drowning people know the surface. Casper nods slowly. "Tonight." The water falters then, catches itself, resumes in a pattern you've never heard before, something between a whisper and a stutter. They arrive at dusk, which is meaningless in a place that has no sky. The newcomer descends carefully, as though the stairs might betray them, tall, hollow-eyed in a way that suggests they've spent time in fluorescent rooms like the ones above. They carry a single canvas bag and wear clothes that don't quite fit, borrowed perhaps, or abandoned by someone else. Their hair is the color of old pennies, tarnished. Casper rises to greet them. You remain seated, watching, listening. "I'm Casper," your protector says, extending a hand. "This is Sanctuary." The newcomer takes the hand. Their grip, you notice, is neither warm nor cold. It simply is, a neutral fact, like a doorknob. And the water stops, not gradually, not a slow tapering into silence. It stops. Mid-drop, as though the universe has hiccuped. For a moment that stretches like taffy, there is only the sound of your own heartbeat, which suddenly seems obscene in its loudness. Then a single drop falls, hits the stone floor with a sound like a closing door. Casper's hand remains extended, but something has shifted in their posture, a tightening at the shoulders. You've seen this before. The moment when Casper's gift encounters something it cannot read, some emotional frequency that exists outside the spectrum they've learned to navigate. "Welcome," Casper says, but the word has lost its certainty. The newcomer's name is Morgan. They claim to be running from the same things everyone else is running from: the city's appetite, the system's indifference, the particular cruelty of a world that mistakes power for rightness. Standard sanctuary story. You've heard variations of it 100 times, but the water never starts again. It doesn't resume its normal rhythm. Not that night, not the next day. The fissure in the ceiling continues to weep, slowly, almost mockingly, but it has lost its voice. The sanctuary, which has always been a place of confession written in falling water, has gone mute. You watch Casper during this silence. Watch how they move around Morgan with the careful deliberation of someone navigating a room they can no longer see. They're still kind. Casper's kindness is architectural, not situational. But there's something else now. A hesitation, a shadow that wasn't there before. On the third night, you find Casper alone in the deepest part of the tunnels, where the water doesn't fall and the darkness is absolute. "You can't read them," you say. Casper doesn't deny it. "No." "Are they dangerous?" "I don't know." Casper's voice is hollow, a perfect acoustic match for the tunnel around you. "That's the terror of it. I've built everything, my understanding of myself, my ability to protect this place and everyone in it, on the assumption that I can sense corruption, that I can feel deception the way others might notice a change in temperature." They pause, a long pause, the kind that admits defeat. Morgan's heart doesn't speak to the water. Their emotions exist in a frequency I can't access, and without that, Casper trails off, but you understand. Without that, Casper is just another person, guessing, vulnerable to the same blindness that afflicts everyone else. "We should ask them to leave," you say, but you both know you won't. Because the thing about sanctuary is that it's supposed to be unconditional. That's the entire architecture of it. The moment you start checking hearts, the moment you start requiring proof of emotional authenticity, you've already lost. You've already become the city above, with its security cameras and background checks, and its certainty that some people are worth protecting and others aren't. "If I turn them away because I can't read them," Casper says slowly, "then I'm not protecting anyone. I'm just guarding a door." 4 days later, you find something missing. Not something large, not something obvious, but the medical kit that was kept in the old token booth, the one with the antibiotics and the bandages and the painkillers for people whose bodies are falling apart, is gone. And Morgan's bag is heavier than it was before. You consider not telling Casper. Consider pretending you didn't notice, that the universe hasn't confirmed your worst fear, that Casper's blindness has consequences. Instead, you descend into the deepest tunnels and speak the truth into the dark. Casper listens. They always do. And when you finish, they don't move. They don't rage or weep or do any of the things that might make this easier. They simply sit in the absolute darkness and let the weight of it settle. "I could ask them to leave," Casper says finally. "Use this as justification. Protect the principle that I can protect everyone." Yes. But others would suffer without those supplies. People above, in the city, who would die from infections that we could have treated. People whose hearts I can read, whose corruption I can sense, but whose pain I would have prevented nothing. You understand what Casper is saying. You understand it in your bones. On the 7th night, Morgan approaches you while Casper sleeps. "They're afraid of me," Morgan says. It's not a question. "Yes." "Good." Morgan sits beside you, and you notice they've lost weight, or perhaps they're simply revealing the weight they've always carried. Their tarnished penny hair catches what little light exists in this place. I need to tell you something about why my heart doesn't speak to the water. You wait. I'm not deceptive, Morgan says. That's not why Casper can't read me. I'm incapable of feeling the things that would create echoes in this place. Anger, fear, shame, hope. They all require some fundamental connection to the world, some belief that what happens to you matters. I lost that a long time ago. There's nothing in me that the water can recognize because I've spent years becoming a thing the world can't touch. They're quiet for a moment. I took the medical supplies because I'm dying, and I wanted to understand what it felt like to want something enough to steal it, to want anything at all. For 7 days I've lived in a place where someone could read my heart, where my presence mattered enough to terrify. That's more life than I've had in years. The weight of this admission sits between you like a stone. Casper won't let you stay, you say. I know, but they won't throw me out either. They'll do what they always do, sit in the dark and doubt themselves, afraid that their compassion isn't enough, afraid that by accepting someone like me, they're betraying everyone else. Morgan looks at you directly. You're afraid too, but you're here anyway. In the morning, Casper asks Morgan to leave, not with anger, not with the moral certainty that would make it easier, just with the weight of someone who has chosen protection over principle and will spend the rest of their life unsure if they chose correctly. Morgan leaves without argument. They take nothing with them, not the supplies, not even the dignity of righteousness. They simply climb the stairs and return to the city above, to the fluorescent hum and the recycled air and the bright demands that have already worn them thin. After they're gone, the water starts falling again, slowly at first, then with increasing confidence. The rhythm returns, the confessional murmur of the sanctuary. But something has changed. The water falls differently now, heavier somehow, more honest. It no longer sounds like revelation. It sounds like grief. You and Casper sit in the dark and listen to it together. I couldn't protect you, Casper says. I couldn't protect anyone. You did, you tell them. You chose compassion over certainty. That's what protection looks like. But Casper doesn't answer, because you both know the truth is more complicated than comfort. The truth is that sometimes doing the right thing doesn't feel like victory. Sometimes it feels like drowning slowly in water you can't escape. Casper traces the edge of their ancient ledger and makes a new entry, and the water falls on, recording secrets in a language only the broken can understand.
Morgan left as a ghost, leaving Casper to sit in a sanctuary that finally found its voice again. Though now, the water only sounds like grief. It's a haunting reminder that sometimes the right choice doesn't feel like a victory. Sometimes it just feels like surviving. I have a question for you. Do you think Casper betrayed the principle of sanctuary by asking Morgan to leave? Or was it a necessary act of protection? Let's discuss the weight of that choice in the comments below. If this story stayed with you, please like and subscribe. For those who want to build their own underground worlds and complex characters, the Fables Adventures app is linked in the description. Thank you for listening. Keep listening to the quiet. I'll see you tomorrow.